Have you ever met someone who looked too good for their age? Like, no wrinkles, no stress lines, no single sign of aging, just pure glow. Well, in Umuchika town, there was one woman like that. Her name was Nurse Agatha. Everyone called her Mama Care because she cared for her patients like her own children. At least, that's what people thought. But if only they knew what was cooking in her kitchen every night. If only they knew what she was really feeding on to stay that young. You would never eat pepper soup again after this story. Agatha was a beauty even at 50. Her skin shone like she bathed in honey every morning. Her lips were always red, her uniform always sparkling clean, and her perfume, chai. You could smell her coming before you even saw her. Everyone admired her. Even the doctors, young and old, would find excuses to pass by her ward. But Nurse Agatha's eyes belonged to only one man, Doctor Ekene. Ekene was the new doctor at Umuchika General Hospital. He was tall, gentle, the type that smiled with his eyes. He was engaged to another nurse, Amara. But Agatha couldn't stop thinking about him. You see, Agatha once had a husband until he left her for a younger woman. That heartbreak shattered her. She told herself she would never let another man see her as old. So, when Dr. Ekene arrived, all that buried jealousy returned like fire. It began with small things. She would bring him food during his night shift. She would compliment his shirt. She even helped him to fill up his report. Ekene, being the polite man he was, never saw it as anything more than kindness. But Agatha was falling deeper each day. One evening, while preparing to go home after her afternoon shift, she passed by Dr. Ekene's ward to greet him and ask what he would like her to get for him the next day. Standing at the door, she saw him laughing with Amara. The way he touched Amara's arms gently, the way she blushed, it burned Agatha's soul. That night, she went home crying. She wondered what Dr. Ekene saw in Amara. Nurse Agatha was prettier and smarter at handling patients, way more than Nurse Amara could. Agatha had worked at the hospital for over 20 years. Yet, she looked barely 35. There was no wrinkles, no tired eyes, no sign of age. Some people called her blessed. Some whispered that she used some special lotion, but nobody could say for sure. If the nurses asked her, she would only smile and say, "Ah, my dear, it's good living and a clean heart. That is my secret." If she was that gorgeous, then why wasn't Dr. Ekene head over heels for her? Every other young handsome man at work had made their moves on her, but she brushed them off. The tough nut to crack seemed to be Dr. Ekene, and Nurse Agatha was not one to back down from a challenge. 2 weeks later, Agatha went to a woman people feared to mention, Mama Ifoma, the herbalist who lived behind the abandoned cocoa farm. Her compound smelled of blood and herbs. When Agatha arrived, the old woman smiled, her lips black from chewing cola. "You want love," Mama Ifoma said, "but what you really need is power. You want to stay young, attractive, irresistible. Is that not so?" Agatha nodded weakly. How did this old woman read what was on her troubled mind? "Then you will never grow old again," the old woman whispered. "If only you can eat what gives life, the flesh that leaves the womb." Agatha was lost for words. She frowned. Maybe she didn't hear what she said at first. "Mama, what did you say?" Mama Ifoma chuckled. "The placenta. Boil it in red oil and pepper. Eat it hot. The spirit of youth will enter you. But remember, you must always do it in secret. Once you start, you cannot stop." That was the night Agatha changed. She went back to work the next day, smiling as usual, but her eyes were no longer gentle. They had a hunger for youthfulness, a hunger to glow. She started keeping the placentas after childbirth. Whenever a mother asked, "Nurse, "Please, can I take my baby's placenta?" She would smile kindly and say, "Oh no dear, the hospital now disposes them hygienically. It's the new policy." And funny enough, no one suspected a thing. At night, in her own spacious room, when everyone slept, she would cook her pepper soup of youth. She would sit alone in her small kitchen, whispering over the steam, "Let me glow forever. Let me stay beautiful for Ekene." And strangely, it worked. Her skin tightened, her eyes sparkled, her glow became divine. People began saying, "Mama Agatha, abeg, which cream you dey use? I want to be ever young and fresh like you." She would just laugh, "Na shea butter o, my dear." But darkness has a way of revealing itself. Soon, her obsession with Doctor Ekene grew wild. She thought of him helplessly. She wore more skimpy uniforms. She sprayed more expensive cologne. She wanted him to notice her. She started bringing him extra food from home every day. Spice soup that smelled too good to resist. He would laugh, "Ah, Mama Care, your pepper soup is medicine." One afternoon, Amara took a spoon from his bowl and joked, "If I eat this, maybe I will glow like you, Mama Care." Nurse Agatha stood still, smiling tightly. "Better don't touch that one, my dear. It's specially for him." Nobody thought much of it, but that night, Agatha cried to herself, whispering, "He must love me. He must love only me, even if I have to feed him my secret." The next morning, Amara fell sick. She had fever, cold sweats, and was vomiting. At first, everyone thought it was malaria until her skin started darkening strangely, like her life was being drained. Dr. Ekene stayed by her side day and night, but Nurse Agatha, though pretending to care, was jealous. Weeks passed, more women gave birth, more placentas went missing, and the hospital staff began to whisper, "Why is Mama Care always the one to dispose after birth? Why is her waist bag always tied tightly?" Only one nurse, Ijeoma, decided to find out. She followed Agatha one night after work, hiding behind the trees. As the woman walked home with her usual white bag, rain started falling. The street lights flickered. Agatha hummed softly, dragging her feet through the puddles. She never suspected she was being trailed quietly. Ijeoma crept closer, and through Agatha's window, she saw something unbelievable. A big pot was bubbling on the fire. Inside was red soup, thick, oily, steaming. Agatha stood over it, staring slowly. Her eyes were closed. Humming her favorite song slowly, she whispered, "The flesh of life, the secret of beauty. Never let me grow old. The more I drink, the more I glow. Forever young is the deal." Ijeoma gasped, shocked and terrified. She covered her mouth. What she saw was unbelievable. The hospital staffs must hear of this tomorrow morning. Everybody must know. But her phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor. Agatha's head snapped up. "Who is there?" Ijeoma ran. She ran for her life. The next morning, she reported to the matron. "Ma, I know where the missing placentas have been. I know this sounds stupid, but Nurse Agatha seems to be the one collecting the remnants after child delivery. She has been the one taking all the placentas," she said in one breath. The matron looked at her like she would look at a little child who had a crazy imagination. "Nurse Ijeoma, I hope you know there are punishments and penalties for tainting the name of the hospital or any staff at all, especially when the allegations are falsified. You know this, right?" "Yes, matron. I know exactly what I saw last night. It was a big black pot. She was stirring its contents, humming and whispering. I saw it all, ma," she said, a bit shaky. "Enough. I don't want to hear any more of this. Please, return to your duty post now." No one believed Nurse Ijeoma. Who would actually believe such? How could sweet and angelic Mama Care do such a thing? Weeks turned into months. Dr. Ekene and Amara's wedding date approached, and Agatha's heart sank deeper each day. She started avoiding the two of them, trying to distract herself with work. But one afternoon, as she was checking patient files, Ekene entered her office. "Mama Care," he said warmly, "I've been meaning to thank you. You have been like a mother to everyone here." Agatha smiled faintly. "You know, Ekene, people don't always see the sacrifices we nurses make. We live in this hospital more than we live in our own homes." "That's true," he said gently. "I admire your dedication." She looked into his eyes, holding his gaze a little longer than necessary. "Dedication has a cost," she murmured. "Sometimes it leaves you empty." He smiled awkwardly, unaware of the pain behind her words. That night, Agatha sat in darkness thinking. She didn't want to harm anyone, but she wanted to feel wanted. She wanted her beauty to attract that one man she was crazy for, Doctor Ekene. It's few months to their wedding. I can't sit back and watch the only man I want be taken away from me. I cannot let Amara take away my desire. No, I can't, she promised herself. Something must be done. Agatha plotted to eliminate Amara. She prepared her favorite meal, all spiced up. She would give it to her at work the next day. No one would suspect a thing. The next day, she was all sweet and nice to Amara. Unlike before, she smiled warmly at her and assisted her in some duties she couldn't handle alone. And when it was lunchtime, she brought out the well-garnished food and handed it over to Amara, smiling falsely. "I made your favorite. I know you need all the energy you can gather for your upcoming wedding. Finish it all. Don't give anyone a spoon out of this, cause I made it specially for you. I don't want my love delicacy to lose its powers," she said, grinning widely as she headed towards the door and to her duty post. Nurse Amara opened the food. It smelled heavenly. She was already salivating. She took a spoon. Yum! And then 2 more spoons. Just then, her critically ill patient began screaming. "Nurse! Nurse! Nurse! Where are you?" "I'm coming," Amara said, hurrying to attend to her patient. She placed the food on the table, a bit on the edge, and then the whole food fell to the floor. Everything, all its contents, on the unsanitized hospital floor, full of germs. "Oh, why did this happen? I haven't even eaten much of this food, and then this happened," she sighed angrily. After attending to the patient, Nurse Amara continued her duties. She was okay, humming her favorite song happily. In about 3 hours, her system changed. She was breathing heavily and had a blood vision. Amara fainted that day. Nurses, doctors, even some patients gathered round her. She was rushed to the emergency unit. Dr. Ekene was restless, but she was okay this morning. What went wrong? Even Nurse Agatha came to her sick bay, pretending to care. She acted like she was emotional. She even began sobbing. Some nurses consoled her, saying she would be okay. The doctor said it was stress. She must have been running around trying to arrange everything for the upcoming celebration. She needs to lessen the stress. She will be granted some weeks off work to be able to take better care of herself. The head nurse spoke to Dr. Ekene. "Thank you, ma," he replied. After that incident that day, rumors began to spread. Some said it was the pressure of the wedding. Some said it was bad energy that was trying to stop her happiness from locating her. And others said someone had been praying against her. But who could that be? Nurse Agatha was the only one who didn't look surprised. She took over Amara's duties while she recovered, acting all cool and compassionate, and at the same time, trying to get Dr. Ekene to notice her. Of course, Dr. Ekene didn't see her the same way she did see him. To Dr. Ekene, Agatha was more like a mature and sweet colleague at work who he could confide in for emotional intelligence. His heart only longed for one woman, Nurse Amara. Beauty was not his reason for falling in love with her at first. It was all about how their souls seemed to belong to each other, even from the very beginning. Strange things started happening to Agatha. In her apartment, she began seeing things in the mirror. Her reflection blinking when she hadn't. Her eyes darkening when her heart was heavy. "What is happening to me?" she whispered one night. Her glow was dimming, and the whispers from her mirror grew louder. "Peace or decay," they said. "Choose one." She visited the herbalist again. She complained that the placenta soup was no longer effective. Or was there something she did wrong? Your glow is starting to fade, my child. If your heart is restless, the spirit that gives you beauty will grow weak, she warned. You must continue to feed on the flesh that gives life, for that must be your food for as long as you want your beauty to remain. For whenever you stop feeding your beauty, you will fade. Agatha gasped in shock. But Mama, is there an alternative? She asked, shaking. There is no alternative, for it was your desire that brought you to this extent. Therefore, you must let your desire lead you on. Agatha returned home that evening, more desperate than ever. She had no choice but to do as Mama Ifeoma instructed. Her beauty was more important to her than anything. She began instructing more pregnant women to come to the place she worked, enlightening them about the dangers of going to maternities to give birth. Some promised to visit her hospital, while others swore they would never give birth in any hospital for any reason at all. Mama Care was gradually losing hope until that fateful day. A pregnant woman named Ozioma delivered twins at the hospital. Nurse Agatha grinned to herself. Ah, twins! This means double beauty for me. Agatha handled the birth, and as usual, she secretly hid the two placentas. She hurried off to the disposal unit, where she pretended to dispose of the waste after birth. But she secretly tied it in a big black nylon and then into her side bag. But luck wasn't on Agatha's side that night. The saying, all day for the thief and one day for the owner, would play effect on her that day. That same night, Ozioma's husband sneaked back into the hospital, searching for the placenta. His mother had insisted they must bury the twins' placenta together for protection. When he went to the waste room, he found nothing, not a single trace. He stormed to the staff's quarter. Who took my children's placenta? I can't find it anywhere. The whole hospital looked at him. Everywhere was still, no sound. I repeat, where are my children's placenta? The matron looked at him in confusion, but then she took control of the situation. She took him to a quiet corner, where they conversed quietly. Ozioma's husband seemed a bit calm now. Nurse Ijeoma searched for Nurse Agatha, but she was nowhere to be found. Her suspicions were becoming right. The matron and Ozioma's husband headed towards the CCTV room. The security officer checked the CCTV footage and they saw something terrifying. At exactly 8:47 p.m., Nurse Agatha had walked out carrying a white nylon bag, no gloves, no mask, just humming softly as she left. He screamed, "She took it! She took my children's placenta!" The next day, chaos broke out. Police stormed Agatha's house. They broke down her door, and the smell that came out nearly knocked them unconscious. Inside the kitchen were pots, blackened, greasy, filled with dried blood. In her freezer, small bags labeled with names: Ngozi, Chika, Aisha. On her wall, prayers written with charcoal: to glow forever, to make him to love me. And in her diary, one last entry: tonight I will serve Ekene my final soup, then he will never leave me. Agatha was arrested, but before they could question her properly, she started screaming in the cell, laughing hysterically. She clawed at her face, shouting, "They are calling me. The babies, they are calling me. The soup is burning." Blood poured from her nose. Her skin began to blister, peel and darken. Within minutes, she was gone. When they found her body, it looked like an old woman over 100 years old, wrinkled, sunken, lifeless. All the beauty had vanished. Till today, in Umuchika town, nobody dares to eat pepper soup sold near the hospital. And they say, if you walk past the maternity ward at night, you will hear a faint humming. Let me glow forever, oh sweet blood of life. So, next time you meet someone who doesn't seem to age, ask yourself, what is their secret? Because some glows come from light, but some come from darkness. Thank you for watching. This is African Folktales by Vivy, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Kindly share your thoughts about this story with me in the comments. I would love to hear from you, bestie. What lesson did you grab? Kindly share this powerful tale with your friends and family. Please give this story a like, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel by now, please do so immediately. Much love from Vivy to you. Until you hear from me again. Bye-bye. Bye.